The worst part about finding out your wife is screwing your boss isn't the betrayal, it's realizing everyone at the Christmas party already knew. I'm standing there in my department store suit, nursing a warm beer, watching Reed Morrison flash his Rolex while my wife Amber hangs on his every word like he's reciting the damn Constitution. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. "Lucas, you look like someone pissed in your cornflakes," my buddy Vic says, sliding up beside me with 2 fresh beers. "What's eating you?" Before I can answer, Reed's voice cuts through the chatter like a rusty knife. "Hey everyone, gather round. I've got a toast." The creative director of Morrison & Associates raises his glass, his perfect teeth gleaming under the rooftop lights. "To all the hard-working people who make this agency great, and to those who, well, let's just say some of us married up." His eyes lock on mine. The bastard's drunk, but not drunk enough to hide the smirk. "Amber could definitely do better than middle management," Reed continues, loud enough for half the party to hear. "Hell, she already is." The laughter hits me like a slap. My wife, my goddamn wife, doesn't even have the decency to look embarrassed. She's blushing, but it's the wrong kind of blush. The kind that says she's flattered, not mortified. I set down my beer and walk straight to Reed. The conversation dies around us. "You know what, Reed?" I say, my voice carrying across the rooftop. "You're absolutely right. Amber deserves better. Someone who doesn't need 3 martinis to work up the courage to hit on married women. Someone whose idea of creativity isn't stealing other people's wives because he can't satisfy his own." Reed's face goes white, then red. "What did you just say to me?" "I said you're a pathetic middle-aged man having a midlife crisis, and everyone here knows it, including your wife, who's probably at home right now changing the locks." The crowd's gone dead silent. Even the traffic noise from the street below seems muted. Amber grabs my arm. "Lucas, apologize right now, or we're done. I mean it. This is over." I look at her hand on my sleeve, then at her face. After 12 years of marriage, I'm seeing her clearly for the first time. The way she's positioned herself between Reed and me, protecting him. The way she's looking at me like I'm the problem. "You know what, Amber? You're right." I pull my arm free and head for the elevator. It is over. The elevator doors close on a tableau of shocked faces. As we descend, I catch my reflection in the polished steel. I'm smiling, and it scares me a little. Because for the first time in months, I feel completely awake. My phone buzzes with a text from Amber. "You'd better fix this, or else." "Or else what?" I think, walking out into the Chicago night. But I already know I'm about to find out. 3 weeks later, I'm living in a studio apartment that smells like the previous tenant's cat. And Amber's working late every night editing photos. She's a freelance photographer, which apparently now requires her to stay out until midnight and come home smelling like expensive cologne. The cologne that isn't mine. She's not even trying to hide it, I tell Vic over coffee at our usual diner. "Yesterday I found a hotel keycard in her purse, the Fairmont. Since when do we have Fairmont money?" Vic stirs his coffee thoughtfully. "You could hire a private investigator." "With what money? Half our assets are frozen until the divorce is final, and the other half she's apparently spending on room service with Reed." That's when Mrs. Klein, our 70-something neighbor, slides into the booth behind us. She's got the kind of hearing that comes from decades of professional eavesdropping. "Honey," she says, leaning over the booth divider, "I've seen that fancy car parked outside your building 6 times this month, same time every Tuesday and Thursday. Driver's got silver hair and wears suits that cost more than my rent." Tuesdays and Thursdays. The nights Amber claims she's at the gym, I spend the next week documenting everything. Photos of Reed's BMW in our parking garage, screenshots of Amber's location showing the Fairmont when she's supposed to be at yoga. A receipt for lingerie I've never seen, charged to our joint credit card. The smoking gun comes courtesy of Jesse, Reed's 25-year-old assistant. I corner him in the break room at work, where he's microwaving what looks like a gourmet meal. "Nice lunch," I say. "Looks expensive." Jesse glances around nervously. Reed brought it back from his meeting at the Fairmont. He's been going there a lot lately. Business meetings, you know. "With clients?" "Well," Jesse hesitates, then leans closer. "Look, Lucas, I like you. You've always been decent to me. So I'm going to tell you something, but you didn't hear it from me." He pulls out his phone and shows me a photo. Reed and Amber, kissing in the hotel lobby. The timestamp shows last Thursday at 2:17 p.m. "I was delivering contracts to Reed when I saw them," Jesse whispers. "I'm sorry, man. I really am." I stare at the photo, feeling something cold and sharp settle in my chest. "Jesse, how would you like to help me with a little creative project?" His eyes light up. What kind of project? The kind that wins awards. That night, I call Vic. Remember what you said about getting creative? It's time to launch a campaign. The first phase of Operation Payback launches on a Monday morning. I've spent the weekend crafting the perfect anonymous email to Reed's wife, Helen. Nothing crude or obvious, just a concerned citizen who happened to witness some unprofessional behavior at the Fairmont Hotel, complete with timestamps and Jesse's photograph. By Tuesday, Helen Morrison has filed for divorce and frozen Reed's personal accounts. By Wednesday, the rumors are spreading through the agency like wildfire. Reed's walking around looking like someone punched him in the gut, which is exactly the look I was going for. The second phase hits Thursday evening at Amber's gallery opening downtown. She's photographing some pretentious art installation when I walk in, uninvited but perfectly dressed for the occasion. Lucas? Amber looks genuinely shocked. What are you doing here? Supporting my wife's career, I say loudly enough for the nearby art snobs to hear. Though I have to say, the subject matter's a bit derivative. All this stuff about betrayal and deception, it's been done to death, don't you think? Reed appears at Amber's elbow like a bad rash. You need to leave. Now. Actually, Reed, I was hoping to congratulate you on your divorce. Helen's really going for the throat, isn't she? I heard she's asking for the house, the cars, and half your business. That's got to sting. Reed's face goes purple. You son of a... Careful, I interrupt. We're in public. Wouldn't want to cause a scene and embarrass Amber. Again. I turn to go, then pause. Oh, and Reed? You might want to check your car when you leave. Chicago's got a real vandalism problem these days. 20 minutes later, I'm parked across the street watching Reed discover that someone has superglued his door lock shut and keyed cheater into his pristine paint job. The note under his windshield wiper reads, You said she could do better. Maybe you should have done better, too. Reed's screaming at the gallery security guard, demanding they check the cameras. Amber's trying to calm him down while a growing crowd of art patrons watches the show. Someone's recording it on their phone. My phone rings. Amber. I know it was you, she hisses. I have no idea what you're talking about. I've been home all evening, working on some legal documents. Divorce papers, actually. You should expect to be served tomorrow. The line goes quiet, except for her breathing. You bastard, she finally whispers. No, sweetheart. I'm the guy who caught you. There's a difference. I hang up and drive home, humming along to the radio for the first time in months. The confrontation comes Friday morning in our old apartment. Amber's waiting for me when I arrive to collect the rest of my things, and she's not alone. Reed's there, along with our former friends Mike and Jennifer Chen, and Tom Bradley from our old neighborhood crowd. We need to talk, Mike says, his arms crossed. This has gone too far. I set down my box and look around the room. These people used to be my friends. We'd had barbecues together, shared holidays, celebrated birthdays. Now they're looking at me like I'm something they scraped off their shoes. Let me guess, I say. Amber told you I'm the bad guy here, that I'm harassing poor Reed and making her life difficult. You destroyed his car, Jennifer snaps. You sent lies to his wife. You're acting like a psychopath. Lies? I pull out my phone and show them Jesse's photograph. This was taken last Thursday at 2:17 p.m. Amber told me she was at a yoga class. The room goes quiet. Reed shifts uncomfortably. That's out of context, Amber stammers. Really? What's the context for your tongue being down my boss's throat? Tom steps forward. Look, Lucas, we get that you're hurt. But this vendetta thing isn't healthy. You need to let it go and move on. Move on? I laugh, and it sounds bitter even to me. My wife of 12 years is screwing another man, spending our money on hotel rooms and lying to my face every single day. And you want me to let it go? Yes, Mike says firmly, because this isn't who you are. The Lucas we know doesn't destroy people's property or ruin marriages. The Lucas you knew was a chump, I shoot back. He was so busy being the nice guy that he didn't notice his wife was treating him like a doormat, and his friends were taking her side. We're not taking sides, Jennifer protests. Bullshit. You're here, aren't you? Standing in my apartment, defending the woman who cheated on me and the man who helped her do it. If that's not taking sides, what is? Reed finally speaks up. This is exactly why Amber came to me in the first place. You're unstable, Lucas. You're angry and vindictive and what? Not rich enough? Not important enough? Not worth basic human decency? Not man enough, Reed says quietly. The words hang in the air like smoke. My former friends look uncomfortable, but none of them contradict him. You know what? I say, heading for the door. You're right. The old Lucas wasn't man enough. But you're about to meet the new one. I leave them standing there and drive straight to Jesse's apartment. Jesse lives in a trendy loft downtown, the kind of place that screams, "I have rich parents," louder than a megaphone. He answers the door in designer pajamas, looking nervous. "Lucas, what are you doing here? It's Saturday morning." "I need to show you something," I say, pushing past him into the apartment. "About your boss." I pull out my laptop and show him the photos I've been collecting. Reed and Amber at restaurants, holding hands in parking garages, entering and leaving hotels. But then I show him the ones that matter. Reed with other women. 3 different women over the past 6 months, all young, all employees or clients of the agency. He's not just cheating on his wife, I explain. He's cheating on everyone, including Amber. Jesse stares at the screen, his face pale. "Oh my God, that's Sarah from accounting. And that's the client from the Peterson campaign? Your boy Reed's got quite the appetite. And guess what? I've got documentation going back 2 years. Hotel receipts, restaurant bills, even some interesting text messages that I recovered from the company server." Jesse looks sick. "How did you get all this?" "I'm good at my job, Jesse. Research, documentation, building a case. And right now, I'm building the case of a lifetime." I close the laptop and look at him seriously. "Here's the thing. Reed's going down. His wife's already divorcing him, and when this information goes public, his career's finished. The question is, do you want to go down with him, or do you want to help me make sure the right people see the truth?" Jesse doesn't hesitate. "What do you need?" "Access to Reed's computer, his calendar, his emails, his client files, everything." "I can't do that. It's illegal." "No, it's not. You're his assistant. You have legitimate access to his accounts for business purposes. What you do with that access is between you and your conscience." Jesse thinks for a long moment. "He's been treating me like garbage for 2 years, making me work weekends, taking credit for my ideas, threatening to fire me every time I make a mistake. Then this is your chance to get even. What's the plan?" I smile, and for the first time in weeks, it feels genuine. "We're going to give Reed Morrison the performance review of his life." Monday morning arrives with the kind of crisp autumn air that makes you feel like anything's possible. I'm in the office early, setting up the final phase of my campaign. Jesse's been busy over the weekend, and the information he's provided is better than I could have hoped. Reed Morrison isn't just a cheater. He's been embezzling client funds, falsifying billing records, and taking kickbacks from vendors. The man's a walking crime spree in an expensive suit. At 10 a.m., the agency's monthly all-hands meeting begins in the main conference room. Every employee, every department head, every client representative is there. Reed's scheduled to present the quarterly numbers and announce the new creative direction for the agency. I'm sitting in the back row with my laptop, waiting for the perfect moment. Reed takes the podium, confident as ever. "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to announce that Morrison & Associates has had its most profitable quarter in company history." That's my cue. I hit enter on my laptop, and every screen in the conference room, the main presentation display, the individual monitors, even the screens on people's phones connected to the company Wi-Fi, switches to a slideshow I've prepared. The first slide shows Reed and Amber kissing in the hotel lobby. The second shows Reed with Sarah from accounting. The third shows him with the Peterson client. But the fourth slide is the real bombshell. Bank records showing the embezzled funds, forged signatures, and falsified invoices. The room erupts in chaos. People are shouting, phones are ringing, and Reed's standing at the podium looking like he's about to have a heart attack. "This is all fake," he screams. "This is a setup. Lucas Warren is trying to frame me." But Jesse stands up in the middle of the room. "No, it's not fake. I helped him gather this information because I was tired of watching you steal from the company and destroy people's lives." He pulls out a USB drive. "Everything's here. 2 years of evidence, financial records, emails, photographs, even recorded phone conversations where Reed admits to the embezzlement." The agency's owner, Patricia Morrison, Reed's aunt, who founded the company 30 years ago, walks to the front of the room. Her face is stone cold. "Reed Morrison, you're fired. Security will escort you from the building immediately. We'll be turning all of this evidence over to the police and the district attorney's office." Reed tries to run, but security's already at the doors. As they drag him out, he screams at me, "You destroyed my life. You destroyed everything." "No," I call back. "You did that all by yourself. I just made sure everyone could see it." The meeting dissolves into pandemonium, but I'm already packing up my laptop. My work here is done. The final confrontation happens that evening at Amber's new apartment, a cramped studio she can barely afford now that her sugar daddy's in jail awaiting trial. She's been trying to call me all day, but I've been busy fielding job offers from 3 different agencies who want to hire the man who exposed Reed Morrison. When I knock on her door, she opens it with red eyes and mascara streaks down her cheeks. "You won," she says flatly. Are you happy now? Actually, yes, I am. She steps aside to let me in. The apartment's a disaster. Boxes everywhere, clothes scattered around, empty wine bottles on the counter. Reed's in jail. His wife took everything. The agency fired me because they can't trust anyone who was involved with him. My photography clients won't return my calls because the scandal's all over social media. She laughs bitterly. I've lost everything. Good. The word hits her like a slap. Good? Lucas, we were married for 12 years. Doesn't that mean anything to you? It meant everything to me. That's why this hurts so much. I look around the shabby apartment. But you know what? I'm glad it happened, because now I know who you really are. And who am I? You're someone who threw away a good marriage for a man who was cheating on you with half the city. You're someone who chose money and status over loyalty and love. You're someone who let your friends attack your husband for defending himself against the man who was screwing his wife. Amber sinks onto her couch, sobbing. I made a mistake. I know that now. But did you have to destroy everything? Couldn't you have just divorced me and moved on? I tried that. Remember? At the Christmas party when I walked away. But you and your boyfriend and our so-called friends decided that wasn't enough. You wanted to humiliate me, to make me the villain in your little soap opera. I head for the door, then turn back. You know what the funny thing is? Reed was right about one thing. You could have done better than me, but you chose to do worse instead. Lucas, wait, no, we're done here. The divorce papers will be finalized next week. Don't contact me again. I walk out into the Chicago night, leaving her crying in her empty apartment. My phone's buzzing with congratulatory texts from Jesse, Vic, and even Mrs. Klein, who apparently saw the whole thing on the local news. 3 months later, I'm the creative director at a boutique agency downtown, making twice what Reed used to pay me. Jesse's my assistant, and he's brilliant at his job when he's not being terrorized by a sociopathic boss. Reed Morrison got 18 months in federal prison for embezzlement and fraud. His ex-wife got the house, the cars, and half his pension. Amber's working at a portrait studio in the suburbs, taking school pictures for minimum wage. And me? I'm sitting in my new corner office, looking out at the city skyline, thinking about how sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. It's getting better. The intercom buzzes. Mr. Warren, your 3 o'clock appointment is here. Send them in, Jesse. I straighten my tie and smile. It's good to be the king.